As the crow flies, I live about 30 miles from where this happened, boys. This is why we have today. This is why we have today. And remember this. Remember this. Progress on the Hunley. I got all my, well, not all, but I got all the top deadlights are in. I got them all in. Sorry for the shadow. There we go. They're all in. I had to put the little clamps on the conning towers because of the curvature. And then I just put all these on with glue, and when they're done, I'm going to start putting rivets in there. I don't think I'm going to do rivet this whole ship. There's an insane amount, but I'm going to put rivets in where I can. They will be up the front here to hold on the spar clips. The spar moved up and down. It did not traverse. It only went up and down. They could adjust it up or down. Because technically when this sub first was made, it was made to go under the ship. It towed the torpedo. In other words, it was a rope, and they would tow in the torpedo. And they would go under the ship and come up on the other side of the ship and hope that the torpedo would hit the ship and explode. But I guess they had a couple of mishaps, and that did not happen, so that's how they came up with the spar idea. Like I said, from what I've read, it was adjustable, so it was 1-inch pipe and adjustable, so that would say to me that it telescoped. Because it said that it could go from anywhere from 20 to 25 feet. So that says to me that it can telescope. I have to figure out how to put the top spar on, because that hung out over the top like so, and helped to hold the spar up. Because you got to remember, it had anywhere between 90, besides the weight of the bar, it weighed, the torpedo had anywhere between 90 and 130 pounds of black powder in it. So I would think that, you got the 130 pounds, plus you got the 1-inch pipe sticking out 20 to 25 feet. There's a lot of weight there. So I don't think ropes would have really done it because of the length. I think it would have sagged a lot. So I think that's why they put that top spar on. And everything I've looked, they show it. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if it was block and tackle. That's my other problem, is trying to find some blocks. I got to go to my hobby shop Friday to get some paint and stuff. So while I'm there, I'm going to see if they carry a lot of aftermarket stuff. So I'm going to see if they got a little thing of block and tackles, and I'm going to grab it, because I would think, back in those days, everything was sail. So I would think that they were block and tackle to move it. I have found on the side here, right here, this right here, that thing right there, and there's one down below here somewhere, farther back. Yep, there it is, right there down at the bottom. Those have like U-bolts in them, and personally, I think that's how they tied the spar. Because some of the pictures and some of the things that I've been looking at, there were ropes coming for those, and I think that what it was the bottom rope went out to the spa, wrapped around a block and tackle, and then came back up to this top one. So I think when they wanted to raise it, they untied this, pulled it tight, and brought the spar up, and then tied it off. I mean, that makes sense to me. Was that how it worked? I don't know. I mean, nobody from around back then is around now. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's all conjecture and hyperbole. Anybody can, yeah, I know that the experts are looking at it and stuff, but they're in the same boat. Nobody was there. Nobody has great pictures of this thing or whatever. So I mean, they're guessing too. I mean, yes, they're guessing. They have more, stuff to look at, but I'm going to do what makes sense to me, and from what I can see, the research. Also, the other thing up top here, sticking out, is a spool, and they think that spool held the rope that went to the out to the torpedo that was supposed to set off the charge as they backed away. Because what was supposed to happen was the torpedo hung underneath this, and it wasn't. I don't know if you'll call it a torpedo. I mean, it was a barrel of powder, and they were supposed to drive this into the ship and back off because the end of this broke away from the spar, and that's how I made it, so that it broke away. And as they backed off, that spool of rope unspooled, and then when it finally got to the end, that's what pulled the firing pin to set off the charge. But the more I'm reading and the more I'm looking, they're really thinking that what happened was that sub, this was like 20 feet away from that explosion, and the concussion from the explosion knocked them all out. Because when they found them guys, they were all seated in their position. They weren't all, they said if they were trying to struggle to get out, they kind of think that all the skeletons would have been found either underneath one hatch or the other. Desperate men trying to get out, everybody, what happens. But they didn't find that. They found all those guys still seated where they were sitting at their hand crank, at their station. So that tells them that those guys, the concussion from that explosion knocked those guys out. That's why that sub sank. So you can all do some more research and read around, but that's what you'll find, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So lots more work to do, guys. Lots more work. Like I said, I'm gonna once these dry with the glue, I'm gonna make me some rivets and rivet heads and start driving those rivets in. And I got one more on one end to put on one side, and then on the other end I got 3, because there were 4 in one end. I don't remember which one it was, one or the other. And I still got to mess around with my air box and my snorkels. Those I'm going to make sure that they move up and down. I'll figure that out real easy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the end of that off where that little nub is, and then I'm gonna drill into this and put a brass rod all the way across from one to the other, and they'll move. So, but that's it, boys. That's where I am. Happy 4th. It's finally here. So everybody have a safe one, man. Shout out to all my new subscribers. Thank you. Appreciate it. And anybody who subscribed to me, I subscribe to you. So, well, that's how it is. So, happy 4th, boys. Peace out.